In the midst of thunderous roars and shearing winds arises a force so powerful it can change the face of the earth: the hurricane. These formidable storms, also known as tropical cyclones or typhoons in different parts of the world, are the most violent weather events on our planet. They form over warm ocean waters near the equator where the conditions are just right for their creation. Once set in motion, these swirling masses of air and moisture can grow to be over 300 miles wide, with winds tearing through at speeds ranging from 74 to 160 miles per hour. And they're not just passing storms either. A hurricane can last for a week or more, traveling thousands of miles across the ocean at an average speed of 10 to 20 miles per hour. That's a hurricane for you. Ever wondered how these monstrous storms form? Let's dive into the science behind it. A hurricane, also known as a tropical cyclone, typhoon, or cyclone depending on its location, forms over warm ocean waters near the equator. It begins as a tropical disturbance, a large area of unsettled weather, often an organized cluster of thunderstorms. As these thunderstorms move across the ocean, they harness the warm, moist air, causing it to rise. As this air rises, it leaves behind a region of lower pressure below. To fill this void, surrounding air rushes in, creating a cycle of warm air rising and cool air sinking. When these conditions persist, we get a tropical depression. This is a more organized system of thunderstorms generating sustained winds of up to 38 miles per hour. If conditions continue to be favorable, the depression can intensify, and once the winds reach 39 miles per hour, it is classified as a tropical storm. Now the storm starts to take on that familiar spiral shape due to the Coriolis effect, which is caused by the Earth's rotation. In the center of this spiraling mass is a calm, clear area known as the eye of the storm, surrounded by the most violent part of the storm, the eye wall. So when the winds within the storm reach 74 miles per hour, the storm officially becomes a hurricane. And the cycle doesn't stop there. If conditions remain ideal, the hurricane can continue to grow in size and strength. But remember, not every tropical disturbance evolves into a hurricane. Many factors, including wind shear and dry air, can halt the development or even tear apart a budding hurricane. It's a complex and fascinating process, isn't it? Hurricanes, like people, have names too. But how are these names chosen? The practice of naming storms has quite an interesting history. In the early days, hurricanes in the West Indies were named after the saint's day on which they occurred. However, it was during World War II that storms began to be named after women, a practice that became widespread in weather map discussions. Then, in 1978, the United States started using both male and female names for storms. Today, the naming of tropical storms is controlled by an international committee of the World Meteorological Organization. They use a list of names that is repeated every 6 years. If a storm is particularly deadly or costly, its name is retired and replaced with a new one. The aim is to reduce confusion when multiple storms occur simultaneously. So each hurricane gets a unique name that is remembered long after the storm has passed. The wrath of a hurricane is something no one wishes to witness. But what makes them so destructive? Let's delve into the stormy depths of these terrifying tempests. Hurricanes, also known as cyclones or typhoons, depending on where in the world they occur, are the most violent storms on Earth. They are born over warm ocean waters near the equator and grow in strength as they feed off the heat and moisture. The destructive impacts of hurricanes are primarily due to three factors: storm surges, heavy rains, and high-speed winds. Storm surges are the rapid rise in seawater level driven by the hurricane's winds. These surges can cause extensive flooding, especially in low-lying coastal areas. Heavy rains accompanying a hurricane can further exacerbate the flooding. This can lead to the destruction of homes, infrastructure, and unfortunately, loss of life. The high-speed swirling winds of a hurricane, which can reach up to 160 miles per hour, can cause widespread devastation, ripping apart buildings and hurling debris around like deadly projectiles. In addition to these, hurricanes can also spawn tornadoes, adding another layer of destruction to their already deadly arsenal. Throughout history, there have been some truly devastating hurricanes that have left indelible marks on the places they've hit. For instance, the Galveston hurricane in 1900, a Category 4 storm, led to 8,000 deaths and caused $30 million in property damage. More recently, Hurricane Katrina in 2005 one of the deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history, resulted in the loss of over 1,800 lives and caused damages estimated at a staggering $125 billion. Such hurricanes leave a trail of destruction in their wake, but their impact extends beyond the immediate physical damage. They disrupt lives, displace populations, and can have a significant impact on the economy of the affected region, with recovery taking years, sometimes even decades. These hurricanes not only leave a trail of destruction but also a lasting impact on the lives of people and the economies of the affected countries. Not all hurricanes are created equal. Some are more powerful than others, but how do we differentiate between them? The answer lies in the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale. This is a 1 to 5 rating system that measures a hurricane's maximum sustained wind speed. Picture it as a scale of escalating intensity. Category 1 hurricanes have winds that range from 74 to 95 miles per hour. They can cause some damage to buildings and other structures. Category 2 storms amp it up a notch, with winds blowing between 96 to 110 miles per hour, often resulting in extensive damage. Now here's where we enter the realm of major hurricanes. Category 3 hurricanes have winds ranging from 111 to 130 miles per hour. These storms can cause devastating damage. Category 4 hurricanes with winds between 131 to 155 miles per hour can cause catastrophic damage. And at the top of the scale, we have Category 5 hurricanes. These storms have winds exceeding 156 miles per hour and can level houses and destroy buildings. But it's important to remember that this scale doesn't account for all aspects of a hurricane's destructive potential. It doesn't consider factors like storm surge, rainfall-induced floods, or tornadoes that can also cause severe damage and loss of life. So the next time you hear about a Category 5 hurricane, know that it's a storm not to be taken lightly. Understanding these categories can help us appreciate the strength of these natural phenomena and underscore the importance of taking necessary safety precautions. Facing a hurricane may seem like an insurmountable challenge, but with the right strategies, countries can minimize the damage caused by these storms. The first step to mitigating the impacts of hurricanes is understanding the risks they pose. Hurricanes are not just about high winds, they bring with them storm surges, heavy rainfall, and the potential for tornadoes. Each of these elements presents unique challenges that need to be addressed. To prepare for these challenges, it's essential to have a well-thought-out emergency plan. This plan should include details about safe evacuation routes and shelter locations. It's important to remember that roads can quickly become impassable during a hurricane, so knowing multiple routes can be a lifesaver. But a plan is only as good as its execution. That's why it's crucial to stay informed during a hurricane. Weather updates and official alerts can provide valuable information about the storm's path and intensity. Today, with the advent of technology, we have tools at our fingertips that provide real-time updates and alerts, helping us make informed decisions. Preparation also extends to our homes. Strengthening homes to withstand hurricane-force winds can significantly reduce damage. This could involve reinforcing roofs, doors, and windows, or even installing storm shutters. In addition to preparing homes and families, it's equally important to think about the community. Helping neighbors, especially the elderly, and those with special needs can make a big difference. After all, tackling a hurricane is a collective effort. Reviewing important documents, keeping cell phones charged, and having backup charging devices are small steps that can go a long way during a hurricane. It's also wise to gather necessary supplies, including food, water, medicines, and other essentials as part of a disaster supplies kit. While we cannot stop a hurricane, we can certainly prepare ourselves to face it better. Hurricanes, a force of nature that reminds us of the immense power of our planet. We've journeyed through the formation of these violent storms, their naming conventions, and the devastation they can bring. We've explored the categories of hurricanes, each escalating in potential for damage, and the regions most affected by them. We've also delved into the strategies countries employ to defend against hurricanes and minimize their destructive impact. As we continue to learn more about hurricanes and their behavior, we're better equipped to protect ourselves and our communities, showing the resilience and adaptability of humanity. Remember, knowledge is the first step towards preparedness. Stay safe and informed. As we learn more about these storms, we continue to develop better strategies to protect ourselves and our communities from their wrath.